I was a member and advocate of and for the lgbTQIA TransQueer Rainbow movement for over 30 years. I am an ex-gay man. I am also a detransitioner. I was a transgender quote-unquote woman for 20 years until my mental disorder, you heard me right, was healed. See, I fear that none of you actually know what the rainbow cult is truly all about or what its agenda is. And I can call it a cult because I am a victim of it and a victim of its agenda to target, manipulate, victimize, and weaponize children. I was sex trafficked and conditioned to become an agent for my handlers. I have seen how this cult desensitizes, grooms, and sexualizes children. Children are in danger. Children are being targeted. Children are being preyed on. And children are being devoured. Do you care? Any of you? That's the question.
Growing up in this movement, from 14 on, I watched children be seduced and lured in with drugs, alcohol, material things, video games, jewelry, money, anything. And then they're used up, they're passed around, they're profited off of, and then when they're no more good, they're just tossed out like garbage. And then they become the ones who grow up and start recruiting, molesting children.
I think that anyone can do what they want in life. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. If you want to be a drag queen and your parents don't let you, you need new parents.
Pushing any agenda to transition children medically, mentally, socially, or even subjecting them to this perverted cult will open floodgates to child victimization and sex trafficking. This agenda allows children who have mental illness, children who have underlying issues, comorbidities, and that are struggling, to be mutilated, manipulated, sterilized, and butchered. This is the most horrific experiment ever performed on children.
Maine will be flooded with child sex trafficking, pedophilia, and the most detestable, criminal, barbaric, taxpayer-funded scientific and surgical experimentations like we have never seen before. And I leave you with this: anyone that remains silent or anyone that takes part in passing 1735 is without a shadow of a doubt a pedophile or a pedo apologist. Plain and simple, there is no middle ground here. Do not be a pedophile or a pedophile apologist.
Dysphoria literally means an abnormal condition of mental confusion. I suffered from an abnormal condition of mental confusion, as all trans-identified individuals that are desperately seeking and receiving medical affirmation for mental illness. The body is not the issue. The mind is. The trans-queer gender ideology is a hoax. It's a scam. Big Pharma funds all of their advocacy programs and gender clinics, while pedophiles and pederast organizations help them to create research and false statistical data to help separate children from their parents and families. They'd rather children be in the hands of pederasts and sex offenders like the Glitter families that take them in. Please hear me. 15 years ago, I said that this cult was going to subject children to explicit, obscene, pornographic materials to desensitize them before sexualizing them. Done. I said that the children will also be conditioned to see their own parents as the enemy. Done. And this is to further its wicked agenda to push trans-affirming destruction. I warned that educators and social workers were being groomed into the system to take control of these children through mind games while emotionally imprisoning them. They've done that too with SEL, social emotional learning. And now I say that regardless of your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, or politics, if this agenda is allowed to continue, this nation will be flooded with child sex trafficking, pedophilia, and the most detestable, criminal, barbaric, taxpayer-funded scientific surgical experimentations, gender-affirming care, like we have never seen before. I'm not saying that this might happen or that it could happen. Mark my words, I'm telling you now that it will happen if the lgbTQIA TransQueer Rainbow cult is not stopped, outlawed, banned, and all of its victims are forced and given the mental, emotional therapy and healing they so desperately need, as well as the deliverance that they absolutely need. Anyone that remains silent on this issue, anyone that takes part in the promoting or the pushing, defending, or celebrating the lgbTQIA TransQueer Rainbow cult or its agenda is, without a shadow of a doubt, a pedophile or a pedo apologist. Plain and simple, no middle ground. And you cannot be an ally to the enemy of God Almighty and claim to walk in a right relationship with Him. That is just not how it works.